A very good evening, friends. Welcome to 360 Digit MG as part of our masterclass towards the Industry Connect, where we have various industry leaders connect through our platform and engage our participants and let them know about the emerging technologies, the job market in particular, and what are the exciting opportunities that are there currently. So, in that space, today we are honored and privileged to have Mr. Sujeet Kanuganti. He's worked through various profiles. He's a multifaceted personality and a young person. Started off his career as a systems engineer for Bartronics India, worked there for 6 years and did a lot of work towards software development, wireless technology, RFID, RFDC kind of work. Then made a complete different shift after about 6 years in that field. Became a researcher for Tata Steel all the way in Jamshedpur. And then did a lot of work in the space of extensive operations management, robotics, and of course, project management. Having had a stint there, the thirst for varied exposure to varied functions, Mr. Sujeet moved to Infrasure, a company based out of Zurich, where he spent a year for as a consultant, post which moved to Currencies Direct, another European company based out of UK, where he was a consultant. Then a consultant for another year with Align Technologies. After his stint with consultancy, he moved to Satyam Computers for 5 years again in their Zurich offices and worked in the space of data management, search engine algorithms, and sales data management and the works. Post which he moved back to his IT role, which he started off immediately after his graduation, worked as an IT engineer and a solution architect. And that was for about 5 years. And then, once you have tasted multiple domains and multiple aspects of work profiles, that is when, everybody gets into that bug. The bug of being an entrepreneur, being something that you do on your own, hits you. And that kind of bit Mr. Sujeet, and he co-founded ARIA, that did a lot of work towards blind vision. And he worked out of the San Diego office there, and he's been instrumental in a lot of work, right? And then subsequently, he also co-founded another company, called Aspecto Technologies. So it is in the context of Aspecto Technologies and the work and in the space of AI, etc., that Mr. Sujeet has been engaged. We would be honored to hear his words and also see how best our students and participants can benefit from them. Mr. Sujeet, once again, thank you so much for consenting to spend your Saturday evening with us. We would, rather than taking up too much time, let me give the mic to you. Please go ahead, Mr. Sujeet.
Sure, thanks a lot, and that's quite a bit of elaborative profile that you have put forward of mine. That's detailed. Thank you. I'm as of now founder and CEO for Aspecto Technologies. It's an AI-based edtech SaaS platform for educational institutions, including schools and colleges. So the topic that I'm going to cover today is emerging trends in AI. This would be industry trends at the same time what we are doing at IRA and what we are doing at Aspecto and what we did at IRA. So some of the key domains of AI. AI is a vast space, vast domain. A lot of applications coming in the AI area. This slide kind of shows a high-level picture of what are the different domains where AI can be applied in terms of the available techniques that in AI, like predictive analysis, speech to text and text to speech in speech, and in terms of vision, it's like image recognition. A lot of classification related applications that are out there, translation. These are high level domains, but when we get into the details, like even robotics, one of the projects which I implemented at Tata Steel was a robotics for picking up bricks. That was an excellent AI project. Quickly switch from this to the AI adoption over the period in terms of various business domains. And those were technical domains which I covered. Now looking at the business domains, quite a bit of adoption in financial services and high-tech communications of AI, a little towards building or travel. There is a huge scope there, and education is kind of picking up a lot these days. I would say definitely in marketing and supply chain related activities, AI is being adopted vastly. So there is no business domain that AI has not penetrated into. And if you look at the patterns of AI, there is like hyper personalization in terms of marketing, in terms of delivery of education content, and recognition. Again, there's huge classification kind of models that have emerged. Human conversation interaction, where like chatbots are picking up a lot. Predictive analysis for business prediction, failure prediction, fraud prediction, quite a bit of prediction systems that are out there. A goal driven system where you set a specific goal to acquire a target set of customers or a target KPI that can be assigned, and you can run some AI models to tune the backend systems. Autonomous system like self-driving cars, robots, patterns in anomaly detection, right? So this AI has penetrated into every industry. But why now? Why now AI, right? So AI has been there for ages, but it lately has been picking up a lot because of quite a bit of impact that happened, like in terms of availability of computing power. With the advent of GPU and cloud, where you can easily scale on AWS, Azure, or Google, AI adoption has increased a lot. Apart from running AI on clouds, edge computing has picked up because of the advent of mobile technology, wherein you have iPhones or Android phones or other edge devices which are highly powered, highly efficient. A lot of AI is being pushed to edge, so that the cost of the AI running on a cloud kind of goes down. And since a lot of these edge computing are highly resource intensive but are underutilized, and there's huge data now available with the advent of social media, a lot of image data, audio data, open data sets that are available and public to use free for public to use, and that made AI emerge a lot. And companies like Google and Microsoft were able to standardize a lot of APIs for integrating AI components. So, for example, like TensorFlow. And the biggest change that is happening is for 5G, but however, 4G also added a lot of value. With the increased speeds of 4G and 5G, the communication between edge and cloud is like super fast, and that enables AI in a better way. And the future of computing goes to like quantum computing. I have a complete slide to cover that, which also enables AI. So these are the facilitators of AI in today's world. So some of the trends, like let's look at some of the trends of AI. There is like huge ocean out there in terms of what are the different trends that are happening with AI into different domains. However, since I have only limited time, I was able to cover very few areas in terms of the trends. So let's look at those limited things that I have covered. One is security and surveillance. This has become a huge. Some of the core algorithms that are being used are facial recognition and applications being border security, security at home, or security at public places. Detecting anomalies in these areas has become a huge requirement. Voice identification in terms of processing audio data, like telephony data or like regular WhatsApp calls, that kind of leads to recognition or threat detection in terms of potential terrorism activities. Apart from that, video analysis also gives us lots of value to add security in terms of gun control or detecting weapons within a specific vehicle, even brawl detection. There are other applications which I kind of can get into, but these are the high level applications in terms of security and surveillance. AI is being adopted vastly. So if you are in this field, yes, AI is a tool to use. So trends, right? Quantum AI. Quantum AI will be picking up a lot in the upcoming future. Quantum AI is the use of quantum computing. It's a different way of computing, and it kind of speeds up a lot in machine learning algorithms uh, uh, to the extent what they are in the current computing way, right? And quantum computing uses data packets contained in qubits for computerization. I think there's a huge uh, session that we can go into quantum data, what quantum data is, but it's all about different instructions in terms of how quantum computing does using superposition and entanglement to get to the solution very fast. What are the different possibilities of using quantum AI, right? So if you are building up a career in AI, then quantum AI is the next thing to look into. Quantum algorithms are learning for learning. They are like adds a lot of speed to compare to the existing computing mechanisms, and algorithms in terms of like decision problems are again super fast again compared to the existing ones with the random walks. Quantum search, like one algorithm, Grover algorithm, is more faster than a classical search algorithm, which probably Google uses today. And there are other quantum AI applications using game theory. I'll not get in detail there, but one other trend which I would like to focus on, which is getting picked up rapidly, at least in the year 21, 22, and going forward, is generative AI. So generative AI is about generating text, generating audio, or generating images, or generating video. Where generating text can be used, chatbots are picking up a lot. Like a lot of applications in customer support, where you're like a financial institution, some customer calls in, a lot of self automated tasks that the banking can automate using chatbots. A lot of human activities that are involved can be automated using chatbots, like taking a reservation or taking a booking, taking an appointment. All these are like driven using chatbots. Even marketing, like targeted marketing with specific chatbots. Instead of deploying people, the applications are coming up to deploy chatbots to do targeted marketing. And when the lead kind of converts to a potential, that's when maybe a human can be intervened, right? GPT-3 is huge these days. The GPT-3 has a capability of generating around 4.5 billion words per day, and GPT-4 is coming up, which is artificially generally intelligent AI. So it gives a human-like experience. And using GPT-3, there are humongous applications. There are a lot of chatbots which are powered by GPT-3. There are reporting systems which are powered by GPT-3. It's like more like a human interaction kind of reporting system. Wherever you want to have a human and replace the human with a machine which can be optimized, GPT-3 is a very good model that can be applied. In terms of generative audio, there is music, which is a favorite of everyone, and person impersonation, like one of the applications that we implemented at my previous company called Ira. Ira is a remote assistive technology for the blind. We used agents or people who are looking at a live video stream coming from a phone device or a smart glasses device with a camera. And agents used to provide real-time information that is coming through the video. So for which what we did is we were able to generate or impersonate a specific agent of preference to convert the audio that is being or the message that is being conveyed to the customers, right? So there is a big use case there where you want to impersonate somebody's audio. We have implemented a small piece of that in aspecto technologies also. Generative images uses like generally addressable networks. It's about creating images, it's about creating videos. Like there was a recent article about how you can impersonate some actor and kind of generate a movie without the actor being actually present in the video, in the movie, right? So there are ethical issues to AI, but however we are looking at trends here. The recent one is like NoCode AI. A lot of business personnel or business executives wants to use AI directly without quite a bit of help from dev team. Some of the tools that are providing NoCode AI is like Google Cloud, AutoML, Create ML, Make ML. You can look at the screen here. This allows us to faster implementation of the specific algorithms. It's a low-cost development. It's drag and drop use, easy to use by business executives, and not much of a coding is involved or a development team or development effort is involved. So if you are looking at some trends in AI, and no code is one of the AI, and if you want to pick up a career, I think you got to look at all these utilities which can help business support systems or business team. AI ops again is picking up a lot. AI ops is more about supporting DevOps. DevOps, everybody knows it's about IT operations. So artificial intelligence for IT operations is like application of AI to regular traditional IT operational activities. What are those IT operational activities? Like if you are into IT ops, you know there's infrastructure, there is network, there is storage, there is cloud, a lot of things in terms of IT. There is deployment of applications. So everywhere you can use AI, right? How? Let's look at some of the key capabilities of AI in AI ops or DevOps. One is noise reduction. It speeds up the detection and resolution of service impacting issues. What it means is like it prioritizes using AI, you can prioritize or remove the kind of tickets or issues that are surfacing on a regular basis or which are not really a issue, but it's kind of a noise, right? You can kind of pull out the ones which make a customer impact or a high impact. And then correlation, you can kind of create a holistic view of the issue, not just if an issue is occurring, is it like specific to storage or specific to network, but you can correlate across the IT infrastructure. That can be cloud, that can be compute, that can be any third-party service, third-party cloud service, or can be storage, any network, or even network virtualization. There's quite a bit of infrastructure, IT-related infrastructure out there. All that can be correlated together, and you can root cause it very well using AI ops. Collaboration, again, this kind of ties to AI chatbots a little. Whenever you detect kind of issues or anomalies in an IT infrastructure, you can use chatbots or GPT generative models to kind of trigger, create a ticket, or create a collaboration ecosystem across multiple stakeholders or multiple teams, multiple service owners who needs to contribute to resolving that particular issue. Context provides a very good context across, but again, you need data to provide all the context. So you need to feed all the data to it. Remediation, a lot of recurring issues are kind of the ones which are seem similar in nature can be ticketless and self-healing. So you can kind of automate some of those problems which you detect on a recurring basis to heal by itself. So if you're again into IT ops or DevOps, look at the trends in AI ops. They are picking up a lot. How you can apply AI to IT ops. So let me talk about a little on what we have did at IRA. IRA again is a technology for visually impaired. It's about remote assistive, providing remote assistance to the blind people, right? So initially what we did is we connected the visually impaired person through means of a smartphone with a camera or the smart glasses with a camera to a remote agent who was able to view the video, that is real-time video that is coming in through the user's first point of view camera, right? And provide the information that is seen in the video in a real-time basis. So there is a two-way audio communication and one-way video communication. And agent is able to deliver the information to the user. However, this was like resource intensive because this was one-to-one, like any customer support work. So the cost involved was high. So what we did is we tried to remove some of the tasks which are which can be automated through AI. We tried to move away from agent and kind of put it to AI. So some of the tasks what we onboarded onto AI were, the first one what we did was currency detection. So a lot of users were trying to do shopping, and since they are blind and visually impaired, they really can't figure out which bill is what, which dollar bill or which rupee bill in our case is what, and whether they're getting the right exchange. We were able to identify the currency, and they use a smart glasses. The blind people who are blind were able to render the tender the right amount of denomination and get the right amount of cash back. That was one of the big use case which has been adopted very widely, right? The second one was I'm not going in the order what is displayed on the screen, but the second one what we did was object finder, wherein we get I used to get a lot of calls for people to find where they put their wallet or where they put their keys. So there are some standard objects which they wanted to find within their vicinity. Within their vicinity is like limited space. So we were able to build an object finder and put the system into an object finder mode where the user will say, okay, I need to find the remote, or I need to find my wallet, or I need to find my keys, or I need to find my glasses. There are quite a bit of things that have been added to the list, and the system will automatically get into like the detection mode, object detection mode, and it's a continuous video real-time processing of the frames to find that piece of object. So all user has to do is to put on the glasses, get into the object finder mode, define the object, and it keeps detecting. And whenever the glasses or the system finds it, it kind of alerts to the user. This was a great use case which people adopted a lot. The other one was attention detection, where in a crowd, if people are communicating, like the blind and visually person is communicating with a group of people, it gives a continuous feedback on who are the ones who are looking at him, who are the ones who are distracted, who are the ones who are speaking. So that kind of a continuous feedback privately into the ear helped a lot and for the BVI to in terms of collaboration. Other application what we did is automated indoor navigation. So quite a bit of calls again used to come for navigation transport, and navigation used to be a lot of times indoors. Like I need to go to a specific cafeteria, I need to go to a specific terminal in an airport, I need to go to say if they are in a mall scenario where it's a Walmart or Target. So the solution was implemented in US. So I'm taking examples of the malls in US. If they need to navigate across the aisles, indoor navigation was a big issue. So for which we did implement indoor navigation, of course, using through phone and not through glasses, because it was quite compute intensive. It used AI again, using the point cloud. This was a tricky solution. It was successful in areas where there is a lot of diversification in terms of the infrastructure. But if the infrastructure is like a continuous like a corridor kind of hotel corridor kind of thing, it kind of failed. So I think there is a lot of work needs to be done there. But that was one of the use case which we tried to implement. The last one is a generative agent, where users wanted a specific agent's voice, and we tried to kind of mimic another's agent voice to a different agent voice. However, this was like work in progress when I was working there, but I'm not sure if this was really good implemented. So those are some of the applications, right? So it's all about trends and applications that you need to look into. The possibilities are endless. Let's look at some of the trends that what we are doing at the current company. Aspecto is a tech company. And what we are trying to do is detect knowledge gaps associated with a student in a classroom scenario. It can be a physical classroom, it can be an online classroom. And using these knowledge gaps, identifying these knowledge gaps, we want to fill these knowledge gaps. So when we identify these knowledge gaps, it's about filling those knowledge gaps, and then fill the knowledge gaps using the content that is available. So when I say knowledge gaps, like what topic the student is not paying attention to, or what he might have missed out in the classroom, those ones we kind of engage the student back using say end of the day assignments, or if it is an online classroom, we kind of push immediate notifications or triggers to re-engage the student back into the classroom. So it's all about making the student fill those gaps and be up to speed on all the topics that are being taught by the teacher. We do use some sort of generative AI also at Aspecto for students to kind of self-learn on the knowledge gaps that have been identified. But all in all, there are around like 10 different AI components that we have built at Aspecto for personalizing learning for the students. Again, so at Aspecto, we are hiring. We are a startup company, and we have a few customers onboarded. We are actively looking for talent. Quite a bit of areas where we need people. If you are interested and if you're trying to build a career in these areas, which are looking at the screen, AI, ML, Java API layer, front end or content developer. Content is mostly educational content. We are hiring, so please do reach out to me on the email address that is provided, or I can spell it to you. It's Sujeet at aspecto.tech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sujeet. Thank you so much. I'm pretty much intrigued with that product finder application, and I was just thinking of a small anecdote around it. So, do we need to have glasses to find those glasses?
So glasses gives a seamless experience, unlike a phone. But again,
No,
phone.
What I meant was if I miss those glasses that help me find the product, maybe I'll need other glasses to find those glasses.
Yeah, that's why the glasses are enabled with voice. So you can just
Okay.
like saying, "Hey Siri," you can say, "Hey Ira," and the glasses will respond, "Hey, I am here."
Okay.
Okay, and
So
you can pick up
just
the.
on the lighter side. And why I'm also personally excited is because I would definitely be reaching out to you on that aspect, and I have somebody who probably needs that product. But
Uh-huh.
on the whole, I would simply say simply amazing. And as you rightly said, 30 minutes is a little too less. Probably at least 100 minutes would have probably done more justice to get into the details of more of IRA and a little more of Aspecto.
Mhm.
A really amazing work you're doing, Mr. Sujeet, and we are really honored that you could connect with us. And yes, I'm sure a lot of students and participants will be reaching out to you. Let's hope they are able to, uh, be part of this amazing journey that you are doing. Thank you once
Thank-
again, Sujeet, for all the time and efforts that you've taken. I hope that we can have more such even specific to certain topics on future dates. We will work out those logistics. On behalf of 360 Digit MG, thank you once again.
Thanks, Nitin. Thanks for the opportunity, and yeah, we can sure double click on a lot of these areas.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can start. Yeah, it's done. I think we have